I'm real happy that in this breadfruit season, I get to try a lot of different things with breadfruit. And of course, nothing wrong with our traditional recipes, your steam, your roast, your fry it like chips. I mean, I even have a curry breadfruit recipe on the site, so I'll post a link to that in the video description. I also have a recipe for breadfruit fritters that utilizes overripe breadfruit, which is another great recipe to try if you have an overripe breadfruit on your hands. But today, I'm gonna try something that I recently tried for the first time. Was me doing my little kitchen experimentation, and that is a soy glazed breadfruit. It is an Asian inspired something, and the first time that I tried it, the results were pretty good. I'm gonna apply a few tweaks in this video. I haven't done it before. This will be my first time doing the recipe with the tweaks that I have in my head, but I'm confident that it'll come out right. So I think this is definitely something you'd want to try, so stick with me to the end. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please take a moment to do so. Every subscription counts. So let me get into it. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is peel this breadfruit and cut it into bite-sized chunks. So just cutting it down the middle like that. Cut it into quarters. Going to use a smaller knife, a paring knife, to just cut the core out and the stem. Now it's easier to peel as you cut it down like that. If you find it still a little cumbersome to handle, cut it down again. And then cut the skin off. Now I want to cut the breadfruit into bite-sized chunks. Not too big and not too small. Probably like 1.5-inch pieces should be good. Okay, so our breadfruit is prepped, cut and everything. So now I just want to move on to prepping the other ingredients we need for our soy glazed breadfruit. Now this recipe does call for a lot of ginger. It's very ginger forward. So if you don't like ginger, if you're not a fan of ginger, I really don't know what to tell you. Stop being childish. Yeah, I don't know. We also need a lot of garlic for this recipe, so I'm going in with about 12 cloves here. And we also need some chive or scallion, however you want to call it. Cutting up the white parts as well as the green. So the last thing we need to make for our soy glazed breadfruit is the soy glaze, of course. So starting off with some water in a bowl. I'm going to add a couple teaspoons of cornstarch to make a cornstarch slurry. Making the cornstarch slurry is important because this is going to thicken the glaze. The first time that I made this, I did not use the slurry, and the glaze just ended up soaking into the breadfruit. And I don't want that to happen. I want it to coat the breadfruit rather than soak into it. So I think that this is a very important step, making the cornstarch slurry as a base for the glaze. So the next thing we add into the glaze is some, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, mochijang. This is a black bean paste that you could get, well, I got it in Sincere's grocery in San Fernando. I don't know where else that you may get it, so you'll have to check around and see, but using a tablespoon of mochijang, which is a black bean paste. Adding that in there. Mix that in good. Also add in some vinegar for acidity. Now you could use rice vinegar if you have, or red wine vinegar, but this is just plain old white vinegar that I'm using here. Add in about half a tablespoon of soy sauce, dark soy sauce. Add in a teaspoon of white sugar. That's going to kind of balance off some of the savoriness and the acidity in the glaze. And adding in some red chili flakes for a little bit of heat. And the last thing I want to add is a little bit of sesame oil. Alright, so let's start actually cooking the breadfruit now. So the first thing we want to do is fry off the breadfruit in batches. Of course, you want to bring your oil up to temperature. Don't overcrowd the pot because you don't want the temperature of the oil to drop. Rule of thumb. And you just want to fry these until they're golden brown and then take them out. So as soon as they turn golden brown, you want to take them out. Drain out the excess oil. Alright, so we have our breadfruit all fried off here, but we want to take this one step further. We want to make sure that this breadfruit stay extra crispy, not crispy, extra crispy. So what we're going to do is, while the oil's still hot, we're going to take our fried breadfruit and put it back into the hot oil. And basically, we just double frying it. If your pot big enough, you could put all in. If not, do it in batches again. But you just want to double fry this for, I would say, about 2 minutes maximum. You don't want it to get too dark, but you just want it to get, as I said, that extra crispiness. You want to keep moving the breadfruit in the oil so that no pieces get more love and attention than the other. You want equal treatment here. Alright, so this just took about a minute, and as you can see, it's extra golden brown here. Extra golden brown. Seeing that. So now, just going to remove it. Going into the second batch. Alright. Crispy. While these still hot, you want to season them very lightly with a light sprinkling of salt. Not too much, because the glaze already has some salt in it from the soy sauce and the gochujang, and a little bit of black pepper. Toss that around. Alright, so now it's time to get our glaze going. I have a little bit of oil in the wok. Just add in our ginger. Add in some of the save, some garlic. Is that a toss? Now we're going to add our glaze. And we're going to let this cook until it starts to thicken, which should not take too long, a couple of seconds. It's a real quick thing. And as you see, as it starts to thicken like that, and start to coat the spoon, now you want to add our breadfruit. Switch off the heat and ice it right in. Soy glazed breadfruit, done. Finishing with a little bit of sesame seeds. So this is it, our soy glazed breadfruit. And this is a simple enough recipe in terms of the steps, but the ingredients might be a little extra, you know, the mochijan, making the cornstarch slurry and that kind of thing. So before the end of this video, I will show you a simplified version of this. But first, let's dig in. We'll use the next one. One time. One more bite, just so you know. Just so me to explain the flavors properly. Now these are real good snack to make as a cutters, or you can have it as a side and enjoy it with other things. The flavor of the mochijan and the soy sauce is real savory, rich umami flavor. And then you get a hint of sweetness with the sugar that we use to kind of balance it off. The glaze on it is just a real nice coating. They get a little crispiness from the double fry and then the meatiness of the breadfruit. Yeah, this is a real nice snack. The fresh chive as garnish, giving it a pop, and again a little spiciness again from the little pepper flakes that we added. This is a nice, well-rounded, very flavorful snack to have. It's a really good way to use breadfruit in a new way. So I really hope you try this recipe. And as promised, let me give you a simpler version of this. So let's say you have your breadfruit all fried off and nice and crispy, but you don't have the soy glaze or you don't have the ingredients to make the soy glaze. Fear not, a real quick hack is using this sweet Thai chili sauce. It's something you could find in, I guess, most leading supermarkets. So you could look out for it, but trust and believe this is a real quick way to achieve similar results. So, in with a little bit of oil, add in some ginger, add in some garlic, a little bit of the chive. Now we add in a little bit of our sweet Thai chili sauce. Now we just want to add our breadfruit. Just finish with some fresh chive, sesame seeds. And with this we have similar results, but even less cook time, less prep time. You can't go wrong. That is it right there, our soy glazed breadfruit, ready to be consumed. I really hope that you do try this recipe because it really is a nice one to add to your repertoire. As I said, ain't nothing wrong with, you know, the tried and tested, the old faithful breadfruit recipes, but it's always nice to add something new to the mix. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and give it a share. If you do try the recipe, hit me up online and let me know how it went. And I will post a link to the full recipe in the video description, so look out for that. And yeah, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please take a moment to do so. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.